Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. Dr. Laura Griffith is joining us here. We're so excited to have her here. Dr. Laura Griffith Garland, I should say. Excited. We just got to meet just a few days ago, and now we're back here on the podcast. How are you?
I am doing well today. Doing very well.
Great. Excited to have you here. Please tell us about your holistic center.
Sure. And it was so great to get to meet you. Absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
But we're here in Charleston, but that doesn't mean you have to be here in Charleston to work with me, because I do lots of stuff over Zoom or the equivalent. But what I do is a lot of different things. I'm a life coach, but when I do that includes so many things. That includes the shamanic work. That may include tarot. That definitely includes Reiki. It might be past life retrievals. It might be soul retrievals. It's so much. And even if you don't want to do that whole thing, you can come in for each individual thing, anything you want like that. Or again, you can see me over Zoom and work that way. You do not have to be in Charleston. Although if you happen to be here, and I've had some clients do that. Like I've worked with them distance, and then they come vacation in Charleston and we get to meet, kind of like we got to meet this weekend. So it's always lovely to be able to do that.
Beautiful. And I know it's charlestonreikiandtarot.com.
Yes.
Also, your tarot cards you pull miraculously before any time for the day, and of course before the show. So tell me what you found today.
It was gratitude, happiness, and balance. So I think these are probably kind of the nicest cards I've gotten for us in a while.
Wow.
But gratitude is the lead card today. So that's where we're going to go. But gratitude is a huge topic. And so we're going to have to talk about how this pulls in happiness and balance, of course. So gratitude. Yeah, we hear, all about this. It sounds like so much blah, 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 blah. I mean, how many times have you heard people say, well, you have to have an attitude of gratitude?
Yeah, true.
And you're just like, oh, God. Don't have me one more person tell me that. The interesting thing is they've actually studied this, like scientifically studied this, and taken people, in one study, it was actually people who were depressed, like clinically depressed, seeing a counselor. I think many of them were on some sort of depression medication, and had them do a gratitude exercise every day for 30 days. And this altered their life. More than half stopped seeing their counselor, and most of them, somewhere over 80%, got off of their meds.
Wow.
And could you attribute it to their counselor? Sure, maybe they had the most fabulous counselor. But that's rare. It's rare in 30 days if you're in the middle of depression to be able to say, I'm doing so much better, that I can stop seeing my counselor or something like that. It's a rare thing. But they've studied people who aren't necessarily in depression. Same thing. They say that they're happier. So this is how gratitude and happiness comes together. Yeah. So, and it's not, why does gratitude bring more happiness? It's the law of resonance. No, I didn't say the law of attraction.
No, resonance. Yeah. Explain that one.
Yeah. So the law of attraction, I think, has been overused a bit and way oversimplified. And on top of that, if you think in the natural world, it is not the same that attracts.
Okay.
It's usually opposites, right? North, south pole on a magnet, positive, negative electricity, that sort of thing. The only case where like attracts like is gravity, because there is no opposite. There's just gravity. So I think that's why the law of attraction, it makes it a little tough, and it has been way oversimplified. However, the law of resonance is really much more clear and applicable, because everything's energy. It's energy. Energy has frequency or vibration, however you want to look at it. And the law of resonance is when we vibrate at a particular frequency, that's what actually pulls things in the universe, is that particular frequency. So this is, I think, why gratitude works. Because when you're grateful for something, you're happy about it, right? At least I am. When I'm grateful about something, I'm happy about it. Like when I'm grateful, my cat jumps up in the morning onto the bed and snuggles next to my head and just purrs his little heart out, and just snuggling with me. It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful he did it, and that I'm really happy about it. So it's this whole cycle with that. And that's how the law of resonance works. So I'm happy my cat does that. I'm grateful my cat does that. So he does it every morning. He doesn't really get much out of it other than me getting up and then getting him breakfast.
Of course, he gets a lot. Yeah, he gets a lot.
But I do pat him, but he often just lays there and lets me just snuggle my head into him. He's so adorable. But you know, it's that resonance. The more we are grateful for things, the happier we are, the more that the universe resonates on that frequency around us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know anyone who doesn't want more happiness. I mean, even the goth sort of,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
angsty. I don't even know if goth emo exists anymore, but it probably does somewhere. Even they, on some level, want more happiness. So doing the gratitude exercises changes things. Now, here's the really interesting aspect about what that scientific studies showed. You didn't have to have gratitude for big ticket items.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it seemed to actually be more effective when you had gratitude for just simple everyday things.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like just grateful that their spouse was there, or that their kids are there, or sunshine one day, rain another day. You know, it depends on what part of the country you are. Right now, where I am, we're grateful for sunshine because we get rain every day. If you're out west or even in the mid-continent, they're grateful for rain right now. Or a flower that you saw. Or maybe letting someone let you out in traffic. Ooh, wait, no, that might be a big ticket item.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, but that's it. You don't have to be grateful for the massive things, just the little everyday things. And I think that makes more of a shift, because if we're grateful about everyday stuff, then we're grateful every day.
Absolutely.
And about our everyday. And so that's our frequency during the day. And it's like it's a positive feedback loop. So we're grateful for the day, so we get more of stuff that we're grateful for every day. So if we're grateful for the day, so we get more of the stuff we're grateful for. It makes a happier day.
It does.
It just does. And so it piles up. It's just it's a lovely way to do a positive feedback loop. So many times positive feedback loops actually do bad things. And I'll get to that, because we can get into that sort of thing and not have such a happy day. Because I've done the gratitude for stretches of time and gotten good results.
Yep.
The problem is we fall off, right?
We sure do. Yeah.
Life gets in the way. You have a really crappy day. We stop doing the practice. And then things start to shift to not being happy. And then we go, oh, this really sucks. And don't want to start back up again.
Mm-hmm.
This is where balance comes in. We've always got to work on our balance. Life is about balance.
Yeah.
We all know that when we only are doing one aspect of our life or only working on one thing, we don't feel great, right? When you're just focused on your career, then you're like, oh my God, my family life is suffering. And if it's like you and you have your kids, you're like, oh, I'm not doing stuff for my kids because I'm so focused on my career. Or maybe you end up being really focused on your family for a while, and then you're like, oh my gosh, my career's suffering. Or maybe you focus on your social life, and family and career both suffer. Or it's all about the balance. When we have balance, we feel so much better.
Harmony.
Yep, so much better. I know that when I'm working on these practices and doing it every day, I feel so much better. I do. When I'm not slacking, I feel so much better. It makes my life feel better. When I get my clients to work on this, they feel better. The problem is I think we get into this perfection thing. Have you done that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, where we think we have to be perfect with something. And that's not life. It's not being human. That there are no humans that are perfect. None. I fully believe that we have a number of, for lack of a better word, saints incarnate on earth at any given time. They're so spiritually evolved that just being in their presence makes things better, that just them existing makes things better, but they're still not perfect. They're still not perfect. I don't know that the Dalai Lama is a saint. I don't know. I think the saints just live like in a city somewhere and go do their normal thing. And like if I'm sure there's got to be one in New York because it's such a huge metropolitan center. There's got to be one living somewhere in New York, and she or he just gets on the subway every day. But that subway is always on time, no matter what. No matter what. And when that person gets on, suddenly everyone smiles, I bet. And I bet that happens every day.
Yeah.
I bet there's a person in New York. I bet there's a person in pretty much every major metropolitan area that kind of holds the energy so that, we don't fall into complete chaos. But, I know the Dalai Lama is really quite evolved. The Pope, really quite evolved in their practices, but they'll tell you that they aren't perfect. The Dalai Lama will tell you that there are days when he is very irritated. Now, I suspect his level of irritation is nothing
like ours.
like ours.
Yeah.
I suspect his level of irritation is to frown.
Yeah.
But he's not perfect. So when we do practices like this and we think, oh, we've got to be perfect to make it work, it's not gonna happen. It's just not. So we got to find that balance between working on our stuff and life happening, on going forward with our practice and sometimes skipping it. It's okay. It's okay to sometimes skip. It's like when you work out. You do not have to work out every day of the week. As a matter of fact, they found out that that's actually pretty inflaming for your body, and you really shouldn't do
Good.
that.
I feel better about myself then. Good.
Yeah, no, they've really found that, especially as you get a little bit older, if you're over 35, which I way am.
Me too.
um,
Hmm.
they really have found out that working out every day inflames the body. Now, just going for a walk, as long as you're not doing one of those run walks, it is good. That's fabulous. But going and doing a
Hmm.
workout where you push yourself every day inflames the body. And we all know now that inflammation is just plain bad if it becomes systemic, because heart disease is inflammation. That is what heart disease is. It's inflammation.
Hmm.
They have realized that type 2 diabetes is inflammation. They've now realized that Alzheimer's, they're now calling it type 3 diabetes in some circles, is a type of inflammation.
Yep.
It's inflammation of the brain. So
Hmm.
excess inflammation is not good. So balance. This is why when you don't manage to do something for a couple of days, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
perfectly
Feels
okay.
good. Hmm.
And it's okay to just get back on. But unfortunately, I think there's this attitude. I know I've done this, where when something isn't going well, or I've not done it for a couple of days, I just kind of go, oh, F it, I'm not doing it.
Yep.
I don't know if that's a very American thing or whether it's worldwide, but I definitely know that we as Americans will do that. We'll be
Hmm.
just like, oh, F it, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, you'll be really good with how you're eating for a number of days, for a number of weeks, maybe even for a number of months, and then something happens in life, and you don't, you gain a half a pound or something, or even a couple of pounds, and you're like, oh, F it, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yep.
But the balance, just come back to start again. Be easy with yourself and be grateful that you were even doing it to begin with.
True.
See, there we can bring grateful
You got to
back.
be grateful that we're alive to experience it. Hmm.
Yeah, grateful that,
Yeah.
we were working on whatever practice we were working on, and then grateful that something came along to alter our life and make it a little less boring. Okay, maybe it wasn't great.
Exactly.
Maybe it wasn't great. But I gotta say that a lot of times, the not great things also bring lessons. And sometimes the lesson is just, hey, I am way stronger than I thought I could be.
Yep.
Sometimes that's a lesson. I'm way stronger than I thought I can be. I can work through this. I can get this done. I can start again.
Yep.
And that's the balance. Just start again. Being grateful. Um, you know, they're practices. Gratitude, happiness is a practice. It's actually a practice. You have to practice being happy. For most people, yes. Are there those really sunny personalities that are always happy? But then again, think about it. They practice that, don't they?
I guess.
They
Yeah.
do it all the
Yeah.
time. So it's a type of practice.
Hmm.
So these are all practices. And so we just do it. I've got two exercises people can try. Really easy, and they don't take up any extra time in your day.
Ooh,
Yeah.
go for it. Yeah.
So, first exercise in the morning when you shower, just anticipate one thing, and one thing only, just one. All I'm asking is one that you're going to be grateful for and happy about that day. Just one. And remember, it can be really super simple, like the smile of your kid, um, the softness of your pet's fur,
Hmm.
when you pet it, or how your pet greets you when you're going to come home that night, or how your kids greet you when you come home that night, or that the sun came out that day, or that it rained that day, depending on what part of the country you're in. Um, you know, or maybe that somebody is going to hold the door for you, or maybe that you're going to hold the door for somebody and watch them smile. Something simple. Just anticipate one thing. That's it, just one. And then at night, right before you go to sleep, think of 2 things that you were grateful for that day. Just 2. That's it, just 2. And again, simple, just simple. Doesn't have to be big. This doesn't take up any extra time because you're just laying there in bed going,
Yeah.
when am I
Okay.
going to fall asleep now?
Yeah.
Oh, and you could be grateful for, I got a nice pillow.
Yeah.
You could be grateful for that. Or, I washed the sheets the other day and they still smell fresh. You could be grateful for that.
Yep. Uh-huh.
It's not big things. And I want to challenge people to try this for 30 days. Actually, I'm going to Yoda this and say, there is no try. There is just do it for 30 days. And again, balance. If you forget a day or life came up or something and you can't do it, just do it the next day. And then people are going to tell me, well, I don't shower in the morning, so I can't do this. I got to work around for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do it while you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's brushing their teeth in the morning. And maybe you're just grateful that you have a toothbrush and some toothpaste to brush your teeth. Maybe that's what you're grateful for.
Exactly.
Or that the water turned on, or I don't know.
So funny. Mm-hmm.
If you literally can't think of anything, think of the fact that you're grateful that you're brushing your teeth that morning. I don't know. It doesn't have to be huge. And maybe you say, well, I don't want to do this in bed. I shower at night. Ha, gotcha. Do it while you shower at night.
Mm-hmm.
So this is easy, easy to fit into your world, easy to do. And it's a challenge. Do it for the next 30 days. See how your world shifts. Before I came to New York, I was really working on this. And I had such a great time in New York with y'all. It was lovely. Everybody was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And then I drew these cards today, our first show afterwards. So just really, really an interesting thing. Now, I'm going to push this one step farther. You have kids, little ones, right?
Yeah.
What about getting them to do this exercise?
Not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah, especially anybody who has kids who are anxious. Everything in the last 2.5 years has made a lot of kids anxious. The level of anxiety among children, preteens and teens has gone through the roof. So this can really, really help.
Yeah.
And imagine how having this type of thought pattern embedded when you're little could really just shift their entire future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, many parents are really good about telling kids that they can be anything they want to be, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome. But doing this can show them how to create a better and better tomorrow. And wouldn't that be even more awesome?
Absolutely.
So, just when the kids are brushing their teeth in the morning.
That's a good time. Perfect. That's like the only time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they brush their teeth at night. So it can just become part of the morning brush, evening brush routine. And it just fits right in, slides right in. In the morning, it can have them anticipate something good happening during their day, so that takes that anxiety level down. And at night, you're reminding them of good things that happened, therefore taking their anxiety level down before they go to bed, so that they can go to bed being happy. And they have done studies on this with kids and have found that kids with nightmares, the amount of nightmares go down drastically.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is an awesome thing that we can do with our kids. And, just set the world up for a much better scenario with the kids coming up. And yes, are your teens going to look at you like you're nuts? If you're out there and you have teens, are they going to look at you like you're nuts? Maybe.
Yeah. You're like, okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then you can be like, well, I challenge you.
Mhm.
Some of them will do with a competition. Some of them, it's got to be some sort of cooperation, but your kids. So some of them you can say, I challenge you to be able to do it for 30 days. And, tell me what you're grateful for after you brush your teeth and stuff like that. And there's always rewards you can give and all kinds of things to get kids to do things. And it just shifts people's perspective. It'll shift yours. It'll shift theirs. An amazing, amazing thing. And we can all be happier by mid-September.
I like it. Perfect. That sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Laura, how do we reach out to you?
Sure. You can direct call the office at 843-259-8349 or email drlaura.coach. So that's drlaura.coach@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the next time we speak and the next time we meet again. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.